Pro Tem Gardner.
Here.
And Mayor Mattis.
Present. Do we have any public comments?
No, we do not.
And I don't see anybody in the audience coming forth, and so we will ask the city attorney to announce the closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. We have several items for closed session tonight. Three of them involve conference with labor negotiators regarding several categories of city employees. And we have one conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation.
Thank you very much. We'll recess the closed session. All right, welcome everybody. This is our 5:30 presentation period for the City Council. What we like to do in the community is award individuals for their services to our community, talk about presentations of what city business is, but the coolest thing we get to do during presentations is award our youth sports organizations with recognition for things they've accomplished. So we're excited today to have our Desert Hot Springs Eagles youth football program Tiny Mites here today, who are the 2024 Super Bowl champions. Congratulations. So I'm going to invite up the honorary commissioner of the Desert Hot Springs Eagles program, Leroy Allman. He is Allman. It's Leroy. So the city clerk and I went through this, and I said, well, I'm going to bring up Leroy and have him do the names because I'm going to mess them up, as you can tell. But first we want to, these are all the coaches. We're going to introduce the coaches of the Tiny Mites, and I'm going to have Leroy stand right here. I'm going to hand these to you. You'll say their names. And why don't you come on up here, coach?
Alex, I don't think they're here. Jeremy is not here. Murray.
Hey!
Oh, he's not here either. He's not here. Thank you.
You get to be the first one to stand up here.
Daniel. I see Daniel. Carter. And Stephanie.
All right. So now you guys get to corral all the kids as they come up here. We're going to have them stand with you. And this is, so Tiny Mites is ages 5 to 7. And you can see that these guys are monsters ready to play football at any minute. And they did a fantastic job. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but let's get them all up here first.
Jaden Bowe. Angel. Nathan. Joshua. Jediah? Not here. Not here. Carter.
Come on, Carter.
Lucas. Eli. Not here. Jackson. Daniel. Ooh, you okay? Yeah.
Not gonna let no chair take him out.
That's right. Kington. Banks. No. Jahia. Augie. Christian Spears.
Oh no, I'm not here.
Grayson. And Bryson.
So guys, on behalf of the Desert Hot Springs City Council, thank you for representing our city. Thank you for going out there and winning the Super Bowl for us. And we just want you to be appreciated for everything you did in our community and participating. You could sit at home and play your video games or, you know, read a book maybe. But you were out there exercising, Madden. Yeah. You were out there exercising and doing this, and it was awesome. Leroy?
One thing to Mayor Scott and the rest of the city staff, thank you all for your support. We brought you all some Super Bowl t-shirts. So you hand those out. There's a variety of them. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And so this is the only presentation we have tonight. Leroy has already kind of told a few of you, that's awesome. If you're able to stick around at 6 o'clock, I'm going to have an item right up front that I'd like you guys to stick around for. It's a rendering of our new park that we're going to build, and it's the naming of the new park, and I think you'll be excited for it. So if you have a few minutes to hang out for the next 25 minutes, that'd be really cool. We're going to break here, take some pictures. You're more than welcome to come up and take as many pictures as you like, but we're going to do that right now. Leroy, you want to? Once you step up a little bit. Good evening, everybody. We're going to call this meeting to order. This is the City of Desert Hot Springs regular meeting of the City Council, and the City Council serving as the successor agency to the former Redevelopment Agency Board for Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. This is our regular session at 6 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Pitts. Here. Councilmember Pai.
Here.
Councilmember Voss.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Present.
And Mayor Mattis.
Present. Tonight, we have the pleasure of Elder Sandra Canella. Did I get it right? Word of Life Church, and she's going to give us our invocation tonight.
Thank you. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to come tonight as a community. Lord, we ask that you bless our city council, our mayor, our government officials, and all who are in attendance tonight. Lord, give us wisdom tonight to make decisions that are wise and sound for our city, for our businesses, and all our residents that reside here. Father, we thank you again for this opportunity, and we ask that as we go through the meeting, let us have respect for one another. Whether we agree with the decision or not, we will respect just the way we would want to be respected. We thank you and we praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If everybody would rise, and Mr. Voss, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. City Attorney, would you report on closed session, please?
Yes, thank you. There is only one reportable matter. That is item number 4 on the agenda. The City Council voted 5-0 to approve a conflict waiver agreement. My firm, Cole Huber, represents both the City of Desert Hot Springs and City of Indio, and this conflict waiver allows us to assist both cities in collective police services matters.
Thank you very much. Before we go to the approval of the agenda, I just wanted to ask the City Council if you would move item 8, which is the Corporate Yard Park Naming Contest, up to before public comments. We have some guests in the audience that I would like to have here for that item. I will then move items as necessary for individuals that are in the room, such as the commissioner's appointments and other things. This is also the time when the City Council will approve the agenda as stated, but we will also approve the consent calendar unless anyone would like to pull anything from the consent calendar. Would any council members like to pull anything from the consent calendar?
Nope.
All right. Is there any public comments on the consent calendar? It would be items 11 on. I see nobody coming forth. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, one change to the agenda?
Yes, you're right. You wanted us to pull item 7?
That is correct.
The city manager's office has asked that we pull item 7 and table that to a future date, uncertain at this point, as the presentation is not ready for council at this time.
All right. I'll move that we adopt the agenda as changed. Second?
On the screen, Joe second it. Please vote. There's all showing it. Want to do a roll call?
Councilmember Pitts.
Yes.
Councilmember Pai.
Yes.
Councilmember Voss.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Aye.
Mayor Mattis.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. We're going to move item number 8 up to the beginning of the meeting here before we get to any other items on the agenda. Item number 8 is the Corporate Yard Park Naming Contest, and the reason I asked for this item to be moved up during our presentation period at 5:30, we were honored with the Mighty Tights from Desert Hot Springs Youth Football. Did I get it right? No, Tiny Mites. I did that. I was going to write there. Tiny Mites. They are with the Desert Hot Springs Eagles youth football program here in Desert Hot Springs, and they went all the way to the Super Bowl and won. But I thought it would be really nice for some of them to stick around. Yes. Leroy will know this, and quite a few of other board members. Leroy is one of our commissioners for the league, and we've been talking about building them a football field for a long time. They've had to share fields, rent the high school, so this is an opportunity as we approve the construction of that park in December, I think it was. And so our city clerk's going to show rendering of the park that's being built, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Gardner and Councilmember Pai, who was on a committee to name the park. And there was over 100 names submitted. I'll let Gary or Jan talk about that a little more, but they've come up with a recommendation on the naming of the park.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and welcome everybody. October 15th, we announced a contest to choose a name for the city park, and we publicized it on social media and elsewhere. We got 174 entries. Actually, we got more than that, but 174 legitimate non-adult entries that would be good and appropriate. And Councilmember Pai and I, after the first of the year, sat down and worked our way through all of it, and there was one common theme, and that helped us make our decision. Sports park. Okay, that's kind of bland, kind of, so we needed to put something there. And because we knew it was so important to you guys having to have shared fields, and you've been wanting a football field of your own, and now you're finally going to get one, the recommendation of Councilmember Pai and myself to our full body here is that we name what is tentatively called Corporate Yard Park, because that's where it's going to be built. We're going to recommend naming it Eagles Sports Park for you guys.
Before I go to a motion, just want to state that this park has been awarded for construction, and we're looking at starting construction, Danny, sometime this summer. So cross our fingers by the following football season, not this football season. You guys will be on there playing. This is your field. You will be sharing with baseball, but this is going to be your facility for the most part.
And the baseball field, they can still play at the same time as the football team.
Yep. And with that said, I will actually we'll take public comments first. Does anybody would like to make any public comments on the naming of the park?
Was already on. On behalf of the board and the Eagles and the family, we thank you guys.
Thank you, Leroy. Anyone else would like to make any public comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, on that, I move that we officially name Corporate Yard Park Eagles Sports Park.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We'll put them up on the screen. Please vote. We'll see if it works this time. There we go.
There we go.
Motion passes unanimously.
Yay. Thank you, Eagles, for hanging out. You don't have to hang out the rest of the meeting, but thank you.
Thank you for the t-shirts, and enjoy your new park next year. We look forward to seeing you play there and bring home another Super Bowl.
All right, with that, we're going to move to public comments. This is at this time pursuant to the Brown Act, any person may comment on matters of general interest in the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council, not listed on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the City Council may not take action on or discuss matters raised during the public comment portion of the agenda that are not listed on the agenda. All comments are be directed to the City Council, shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comment. My first public comment is Mary Franklin.
There's a button I'm supposed to push, right?
Nope, you're good.
I'm good.
They left
Okay.
it on for you.
My name is Mary Franklin. I'm a resident of Desert Hot Springs, and my subject is Public Works. In December, I called Public Works, and I told them I had a pothole in front of my house that was growing every day. The young man said, "We'll see what we can do." I hung up thinking maybe a month from now, whatever. Within 2 hours, the pothole was fixed. In addition to that, about a week or so ago, another one started in a different area on my street, and I didn't even call on that one. It was fixed within a day. So I just want to say thank you, Public Works. And that's all I got.
Awesome, thank you. We usually hold our breath when they come up and specifically name a department. All I have on this one is Matthew. Matthew, once you state your name, your 3 minutes will begin.
My name is Matthew. Good evening. So you got some new faces after. Yeah, I'd like to say thank you for building the hub for the homeless people. And their meals and their lunches are pretty decent. I went by there and it was pretty good. But I think we could do more with the food there. I think they could just get more of a food that's going to supplement like nutrition stuff that's going to help like with any diabetes, and Trump is saying that he's going to bring in some type of like the homeless people will be they're going to be taken in, evaluated for something like if they need assistance right away, if they need to be in a mental ward or whatever. So I think we should talk to the White House about getting that assistance, that money to help like with the I think he said he's going to even bring out people that are going to actually talk to the homeless people that are like psychiatrists and stuff like that. So if he's really going to do that, I think we should jump on that and get the assistance funding for whatever we need to help our homeless people here. And secondly, to President Trump, I think money and things are owed to the people that have built this community, this country. It doesn't matter what race, but whatever has been stolen, taken, or whatever people have been doing to build this country, it should all be given back, and everything should be restored to people that worked hard and was enslaved for 400 years, beaten, whipped, killed. The diamonds that are being and having children slaves and laborers for in Congo and different areas of the world to build our cell phones should stop, and we should find a different way to do that. And it's a demand, and if it doesn't happen, then I just want mercy and peace and grace. The more you love the people that you serve, the more grace, mercy, and love that you will get in return. That's all I have to say.
Thank you,
God
Matthew.
bless you.
Our next speaker is Joe. Is it Ernst?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mayor, City Council members, and fellow Desert Hot Springs residents, my name is Joe Ernst, and I'm a proud resident of Desert Hot Spring. As I reviewed tonight's agenda, I noticed the closed session item titled Conference for Labor Negotiators. Whenever this appears on a City Council agenda, it usually indicates discussions about pay rises for city employees. I'd like to take a moment to share my thoughts on this. As you know, we're approaching the end of the 2-year budget cycle. Budget discussions are on the horizon. In most cases, the prudent approach is to first complete the budget process. Once the city has a clear understanding of its financial standing, you can make informed decisions regarding salaries. Typically, this process involves one of two outcomes. If the city has a strong financial year, adjustments to salaries may be possible. Controversially, if the budget is tight, those increases might need to be delayed. In either case, the logical sequence is clear: budget first, salary adjustments after. To do so otherwise risks putting the financial cart before the horse. Now, I don't know what was discussed in the closed session. If the negotiations are merely part of preparing for the upcoming budget, that's understandable. However, if the council is considering salary increases before finalizing the budget, I urge you to pause. The sound financial move is to wait until the budget is finalized and know how the city's financial position is. I also want to acknowledge the recent voter approval of the 1% sales tax increase, which is projected to generate $2.5 million. This was a vote of confidence from the residents, and I'm glad to see the community supporting the efforts to stabilize the city's finances. I encourage you to follow the proper order. Finalize the budget first, assess the financial outcome, and then make informed decisions about salaries. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Amy Diaz. That mic's adjustable if you want to pull it down.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Amy Diaz, and I've lived in Desert Hot Springs for 10 years. I am here tonight with my concern regarding the many empty lots around the city. They are full of trash and dry brush. My concern comes from the recent LA fires, and it takes just one lit cigarette to start a fire. Isn't there a law that requires the lot owners to maintain their lots? Not only is this a fire hazard, but it's also very ugly. And what happened is there any water in the hydrants and water in the reservoir? I don't know. Finally, isn't the city responsible to clean the sidewalks and like in front of the Stater Brothers, Walgreens, the bank, gas station, liquor stores? They're very, very filthy, and you step on them, on that mess, and you bring it in your shoes to your house. So that's what I'm here for. And I'm concerned, and I hope you can do something about it to make our town of Desert Hot Springs beautiful. Okay?
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Don't have a first name, but it says Miss Thomas. That microphone should bend down far enough for you.
Hi, good evening. I am Miss Thomas. Some know me as Miss Flower, online in a lot of groups and neighborhood groups. Recently with the fires, and well, just in general, I work with a lot of people that are up in the Morongo Basin, all the way down here to our Coachella Valley. And there has been no present cert. So the main reason I am here tonight for that is I would like to be able to see how we can get a better presence of our cert, because what the county up there, noticing that we're working with two different counties, but we are a desert region, and we've been forgotten about on the San Bernardino side. They forget about their tourism cities here, and on the Riverside side, the only reason we have a lot of pull is because of Palm Springs and Indio, which we're trying to change, being a tourism city. But the important part was, is that a lot of people were left without information, emergency information, things like that. I'm also going to be looking into talking with the different news that we have here in the Coachella Valley, because it was recycled news. It wasn't up to the moment news. LA County did a good job of keeping people informed of what was going on. It was easy to follow. We did not. We had several fires happen in different parts of our counties that weren't even reported or weren't even adjusted to. We were on them, we got rid of them fast, but still there were a lot of people with concerns up and down the desert regions. And so if we could get more CERT presence, or a way to be able to contact or have a command, or just up-to-date information. People in our region really need to be together. So many people get information from so many places, and we don't have like a generalized, hey, there's an emergency, what do we do and where do we go? And one of the examples of that is an online group called the Indian Canyon and Surrounding for roads. And that is one of the most up-to-date groups that I've ever seen online, with the community involvement. Hey, is Gene Autry open? Is Indian open? And it's moment by moment, and anybody can answer. And we didn't have anything like that going on for the emergencies. And it was such a big emergency out of county, watching valuable resources and things going out of our counties while still being in red high alerts was very concerning, when we could have maybe possibly gotten together as a valley and used those resources within our valley to support 20 families and move them here comfortably out of the chaos that they were experiencing, instead of just sending all of our resources to chaos. So that was it's just a minor concern of mine. I am an ambassador for a new tourism board, the JTGCA. So you'll be seeing a little bit more from me, and I am doing my best to combine the tourism all the way out to state line Route 66 down through the basin and into our valley. So, but that doesn't mean that
Perfect.
the community doesn't need as much involvement. So thank you for your
so
time.
much,
Sorry.
and thank you so much. And just so anyone watching or anyone in the audience, CERT is the emergency response teams. And so I just wanted to make sure they knew what you were talking
Thank
about.
you.
So anybody interested, I'm sure she'd be interested in listening to you. Eric Mendoza, is it Mendoza or Mendez? I have two cards from you. You can speak on item 9 when it comes up, but you do have a general comment, correct?
Yeah, and I'm going to keep it brief. I'm not feeling very well. I think most of you know me. I came maybe with the couple. I have to have an angiogram tomorrow. I tested positive for influenza B. I'm going to be off to Washington this weekend to meet with a few people. I've been working with Visit Greater Palm Springs and I don't know, a few of others in the room, including Miss Doria. Doria, you were amazing. As a nurse who went to New York City during the pandemic in Elmhurst and worked at the Ground Zero when it came to, excuse me, I know you can't hear me, when it comes to COVID, I saw what was really going on, and it's not, we got to trust science and numbers and facts and figures. And everything I've encountered in the public from the city is we have our differences. And I met you, Councilmember Voss, that you came to our table at the expo, and I think you have a lot of great points. And I agree with, we all disagree on some things, but the key is let's lead by example and work with one another. I'm also on the Morongo Basin Healthcare District Board, excuse me, and they're doing a lot of great work, but I do see room for improvement. So, and actually last night, but anyways, I'm working on a digital passport to promote the concept of gateway cities. Everything is on our website. I'm gonna head out after this to keep it under 3 minutes. But this is the passport. I was supposed to launch this at the airport yesterday when I picked up a friend at the gate, but I was unfortunately having a medical issue. So this is the passport. I think this young lady here knows a little about it, what the concept is. We're going to have a way to educate our public and engage them. We're at Village Fest in Palm Springs every week, and we've just signed an agreement. Well, we would sign it if I had time to make it, with the airport to have partner on the promotion. So more details to come. We're actually also working with the chamber. Most Chamber of Commerce is out here, including Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce, where my former assistant, Debbie Valdez, who I'd like to formally apologize to, because for years she told me to go down here when I was working with 29 Palms, but I thought I was doing the responsible thing by staying there because I was committed to 29 Palms. But I have since taken another opportunity and will probably be relocating to the East Coast soon, but for now, I will remain committed to the region and would like to be a resource. I'm going to call it for now because I'm not feeling too clearly, but I'll have it all at our website. Thank you guys so much for your service. I really appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. It will. That's all public comments I have. Is there anybody else in the audience that have any public comments? Please come forward. Just give that blue sheet to the city clerk there as you're passing by. And once you state your name, your 3 minutes will be good.
Thank you. My name is Stephanie Chan. I live in Sky Haven's mobile home park. We have 191 units there. We too have vacant lots around us, a lot, and the debris that we see in our fences or on them is so high with it all. And we want to know if the council would have a way of making the owners of those properties clean them up. And if not, some suggestions, maybe we can get some volunteers, some students, see if we can probably make like a Saturday thing. Hey, let's get out there and get it, because those fires were very scary. And especially when we heard the firefighters who were working hard trying to contain all the ones saying they never took the time to clean up all that debris over there. We can't stop that and their home at the same time, so they had to move on. That's a scary thought, especially when you have only one ingress and egress. So that is what we're asking for, is some help with that at Sky's Haven from you guys. Thank you. My email's on there, and I appreciate you.
As long as you leave your contact information, someone from our staff will be in touch with you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you, everybody, and I do appreciate all that you do also.
We appreciate you. Anyone else in the public like to make public comments on any items that are not on the agenda tonight? All right, we will close public comments this time. We'll go to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the council, a couple updates, and I'm going to turn it over, one update, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Wilms. Just to update the council, I know this happened before the Christmas holiday. We continue to move forward with Palm Springs Animal Shelter, and they've changed their name now. It's Palm Springs Animal Allies is their new name, working towards opening the shelter. We're meeting with them actually tomorrow morning, working with them to open the animal hospital in the first quarter is what their goal is of this year. So getting closer, moving forward. We'll be able to give more updates next meeting as we meet again tomorrow. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Williams now.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, City Council. First, before I actually pass it around for some updates, I have a couple updates of my own to share. One, in the fall, we had discussed with council, and council approved moving forward with a project in the downtown for murals. And I just want to let everyone know that that project is now starting. There was some items that we were working through with Casey, and that's been resolved. So as of this week, there is a mural that's been started, and we'll see a lot of murals quickly follow. And we'll be getting some media out on that. So we're really excited about that. And so, yeah, every time you drive down Pearson, you might see another mural that's popping up. So really exciting. The next thing I want to do is ask Saida Hernandez to come up to the front, please. I want to introduce a new employee of ours to the council, but also to the community, because she's going to be very active and involved in our community. Some might know her already. She actually came to us from Congressman Ruiz's office. But everyone, this is Saida Hernandez. She is our Government Relations and Communications Manager, and she joined our team just before the holidays. So first, welcome, and I want to give you a couple minutes to say a couple words.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council and staff and residents. Thank you so much for this incredible opportunity, and I really look forward to making a really big change in Desert Hot Springs. Thank you.
Welcome.
And she's already proven to be a really great asset, so we're really excited. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Jeffrey Buckheim, our Administrative Services Director, who has some financial highlights for us to go over.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. These are our financial highlights for fiscal year 24-25, the actually first half of this fiscal year. As of the end of December, our revenues have been for the general and public safety fund over $9.8 million, which is 29% of the budget. Last year at this time it was at over $8.5 million, and 2 years ago was just a little over $8 million. Just as a note, even though we are at half of the year, we wouldn't have our revenues at 50% because we get most of our revenues during the second half of the year. That is like for the triple flip that comes in February and May, and then we also get the highest amount of our TOT and sales tax during the second half of the fiscal year. So that's why you don't see it at 50% just yet. For expenditures, we've had over $16.9 million, which is at 48%. Last year at this time, we had 16.5, which was also 48%. And 2 years ago, we were at 15.2, which was at 43%. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Finally, Daniel Porras, our Assistant City Manager, is going to provide an update on Varner Road.
Thank you, Doria. Yeah, Varner Road is currently in the design phase. It is, we have monthly project development team meetings between us, the City of Cathedral City, and CVAG, and their consultant engineers who are currently doing the design work. The design work is underway, doing the cross-section profiles and elevations. I don't have a completion date, and I know they're still seeking for construction funds, but they are moving forward. We are in the base map phase of the project itself. This project will extend from Palm Drive all the way through Date Palm Drive on the Cathedral City side. So this is out of city limits, but we are part of the team and we are providing comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny, and that concludes our updates this week.
Yes, thank you so much. Sometimes we think, I feel like we do a lot more work outside our city limits with Indian Canyon, Gene Autry, and Varner than we do inside our city limits, sometimes because of our residents having to endure some of the other communities not taking care of their streets. We're going to go to Mayor and Council Member comments. I'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Got quite a few things to touch on real quick. Welcome back. Wanted to first commend our Desert Hot Springs Police Officers Association for their new Facebook page and the updates to the community that they've been providing, Chief. They've been fantastic. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from the post. It shows that our officers in the community are informing the community what the community, and they're reaching the community where the community is online. And on that note, Police Officers Association, along with the fire department employees, have created a challenge coin. For those of you that like to collect challenge coins, I have one here. One side is the police department, the other side is the fire department, and all three stations, 36, 37, and 98, even though 98 isn't quite open yet. And you can pick these up, front desk police station for $10. They're a nice way to help the Police Officers Association and have a nice little collectible challenge coin for your desk. Attended the grand opening of the new Lennar Homes development at Skyborn, along with Councilmember Voss and Councilmember Pitts. Some very attractive brand new homes there, starting at the unbelievably low price. I feel like a salesman. $380,000. You don't see a lot of $380,000 brand new homes, which is amazing. And Lennar is starting their next phase there with these homes and expects to build 286 new homes out in Skyborn. Gerald, can you bring up that first slide? The Coachella Valley Conservation Commission met, and the one thing of note to Desert Hot Springs is we purchased a very large piece of property, 148 acres, which is that red square up there, in Upper Mission Creek, Big Morongo Canyon Conservation Area, corner of Mission Lakes and Indian Canyon. And as you can see, this fills in a nice gap in the conservation lands in the city, which are all of the dark green shaded areas of the city. Those are lands that are in permanent conservation status within the city. But this is a big chunk that we've been eyeing for some time, and the owner finally sold it to us. So it's a nice little piece of that puzzle completed. And lastly, we get that other slide presentation. This one's going to take a minute here, but it's really exciting. When you get a thing like this in the mail, this is the president requests the pleasure of your company for an event celebrating the administration's conservation legacy and achievements to be held at the White House. You kind of got to go. And I was very honored to get this invitation last week, as was Shida, our government affairs director. And as a guy who spent 30 years of his life as a lobbyist, it was nice to go back to Washington, D.C. with another lobbyist. And we really had some amazing meetings there, but the purpose was the conservation thing. But you can see lots of pictures of the back of my head because Shida was taking, because she takes lots of pictures of us walking around the Capitol and visiting our congressman. We had meetings with Congressman Ruiz, with Congressman Calvert, and with Senator Padilla. And it wasn't just all about the conservation stuff in the city. It was we used that opportunity, Shida and I, along with representatives from Palm Springs, Jeffrey Bernstein and Grace Garner and Tom Kirk from CVAG. That's in that picture there, and Wayman Furman from Indio. We spent a lot of our time advocating for additional funding to complete the bridges at Indian and to complete the Indian Canyon Road projects here in the city, as well as getting some reimbursements for our tropical storm damage, which we had last year, and we had to redo the bridges, the 3 bridges here. And we spent a lot of time talking about the Bureau of Land Management giving us a gateway designation for the Sand to Snow National Monument and Joshua Tree, as well as advocating some of our trail signages. And we have some trails that cross BLM land here that we need to get just kind of some rubber stamp things on, and it was nice to get back there and make those comments and get some of those things moving. But the biggest reason we were back there was the designation of the Chuckwalla National Monument. And as many of you know that have been around for a while, Desert Hot Springs was the very first city to pass a resolution advocating for the Chuckwalla National Monument. So great job, guys. I mean, we were the first city of the cities in the valley to do that. And the working on that monument, with my role as chairing the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission and the Coachella Valley Mountains Conservancy and Visit Greater Palm Springs all at the same time, was to get all of these agencies together to advocate for this monument, which we did. And we were very, very lucky that the president declared Chuckwalla a national monument here in the desert. And you know, the amazingly cool thing, about it is that the Coachella Valley is now the only place in the United States that is completely surrounded by national parks and national monuments. We have the Santa Snow, we have Joshua Tree, we have the Santa Rosa San Jacinto, and now we have Chuckwalla. We're the only place in the United States that's completely surrounded by national parks and national monuments. That is an amazing driver of a lot of things, such as tourism. Visit Greater Palm Springs has surveyed people that have not been to the valley and found that the number one thing people want to do when they come to the valley is outdoor experiences. They want to go hiking, they want to visit a hot spring, they want to do all of those things. So the future of tourism in our valley is going to be centered around outdoor activities, and this desert is going to be the perfect place for people to come and recreate. Now, in addition to Chuckwalla, he also declared a new national monument up in Northern California, the Statitla Highlands National Monument, and it's, along with Chuckwalla, are both co-managed by the local Native American communities there. And this is very important too, because these lands, particularly Chuckwalla, is sacred to these Native American communities out here. This is where their roots come from. This is where their ancestors were, and this is the history of their culture. And they will be co-managing these national monuments with the Bureau of Land Management. So all of that together was just an amazing thing. It was an honor to get to be invited back to the White House, and Shida and I went back, and to be sitting there in the room with the president and with Secretary Deb Haaland and the tribal leaders and all of us that are involved in conservation was just a big honor. And a lot of if most, not most of the credit, I think, should go to Congressman Ruiz, our congressman. He really led the effort on this. He took the ball with it when we took it to him two and a half years ago, and ran with it in D.C. And we worked a lot with Senator Padilla's office, and we got it over the finish line. And there was nothing cooler than that. And so it was an amazing experience. And now that we are completely surrounded by these national parks, a friend of mine who works for the Cactus to Cloud Institute, which is one of the environmental groups that was helping push this, she took the line that I always use about surrounding the valley with national parks and national monuments, and she said, "Gary, think of it as a string of pearls around our beautiful valley." And now that string is complete. That's all I've got.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pitts?
Wow, I got to follow that. That's amazing. So this is my city council update. So I had the pleasure of attending the city's Parade of Lights. Yeah, I'm going back into 2024. Parade of Lights and Holiday Festival on December 14th, 2024. Alongside city council members Jan, Dirk, Mayor Pro Tem Gary Gardner. In addition to riding on the city's float, my spouse and I enjoyed the festival after the parade. This was our first time experiencing that incredible setup at that festival. While we had participated in the parade in previous years to support my business efforts, this was the first time we actually explored any of the carnival rides, sampled delicious foods from numerous vendors, and were particularly impressed by the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. But best of all, this wonderful event was free to the public, and it's a family-friendly and enjoyable way for our city to give back to the community. We later learned that Roberta, our Recreation and Community Service Director, was the driving force behind this fantastic event. Thank you, Roberta, and city staff for making this annual celebration truly, seriously exceptional. Really good job, guys. The second one is, and I was going to piggyback on your Lenore story, Lenore Skyborn. So Saturday, January 4th, City Council Voss, Mayor Pro Tem Gardner, and myself were invited to the grand opening event of Lennar Skyborn Village 3, hosted by Jim Kozak. And as you stated, we had the opportunity to tour the model homes, and they are truly stunning. In fact, we witnessed people, as we're there looking at walking through these homes, purchasing new homes right there on the spot, which is amazing. And so as a housing advocate, I was thrilled to see the development of these new homes and to witness our beautiful city flourishing. I look forward to an exciting year of growth for Skyborn and potential new housing developments throughout Desert Hot Springs.
Mr. Voss.
All right. So I'll try to make it brief. Got my whole list here. So I had a chance to participate in the Christmas parade as well. I really enjoyed that. I think the float was that Ruby that did that? Okay, well, she did a great job. She's just got such a great personality. And Roberta and the whole group, I think there was Brent. I know there were others that were involved that were there. So really appreciate all their efforts. But, you know, Ruby was like the one who drove us over there and drove us back and went four-wheel driving to get us around and just has such a great personality with all of that. She's such an asset, especially out in the front. I always love her personality up there. So I hope she's listening and hearing these compliments. And if not, please let her know. And everybody else too. Then also we attended the Maverick ribbon cutting that we had. I think all of us were there for that, which was really great. I've since then, you know, have gone there a number of times. It's just as clean, just as nice, just as affordable, and really a nice asset to have them down by the freeway. And you see them being used and stuff. So it's another alternative business for our residents to use. I also attended the Riverside Sheriff Blue Light Ceremony, and this is something they do every year for fallen officers in Riverside County, and they do this in different parts of Riverside County. This year it was in, or I should say this time, because it was in the latter part of December, it was in Rancho Mirage at the library, which, interesting enough, the Rancho Mirage Library does over 300 events a year. Who would have thought that? However, it was really exciting, and one of the things that was really cool about it is they go back into history. So you're seeing constables and border officers and railroad officers, and you're seeing these old traditional pictures. That was really nice. And there was a number of cities that were represented there, including Desert Hot Springs, because I was there. And then, of course, got to meet our sheriff and some of the others there. So it was nice to be a part of that. The Lennar Homes, you know, attended that. That's great. It looks like we got a couple more projects coming up with that, and it's nice to see that. I think if I'm correct, what do we have, about 5 or 6 housing developments kind of going on right now in our town? There's a lot more development than we really kind of see perception-wise, but when you really look at it on paper, we got a lot of homes being built here in town. The chamber put on a homeless and what we're doing, and Doria did a great job. That was at the library. That was a great job that you did over there, and I think the room was full. The room was full. There was a lot of people there. Jan and I were there. I was really, you know, learned some things myself, but there were a lot of really informative questions, so it was nice to see that we did that. And then attended the Cal Cities Regional meet and greet at our own Health and Wellness Center, which was really nice. With that, it was nice to see all the new representatives from the different cities and introduce ourselves to them as well. I think our staff and the folks at the Health and Wellness Center did a great job. That was also the day that the Rams won. We were very happy about that. Had to put that in there. They beat the Vikings. You know, us Rams fans, we're going to still toot the horn on that. And then
how'd they do this weekend? Sorry, just joking. Just joking.
You know,
just
where's
joking.
that recall paper?
Just joking.
And then yesterday attended the Martin Luther King Jr. annual service at the First Community Baptist Church, which was very nice. I had to leave early, but at the same time, the part that I was there for is very appreciative, and it was nice, and it was a very pleasant environment there, and got to see some kids do some pretty cool stuff and dancing and singing and these things. I'm really inspired by the youth that we have here in our town, and they were able to demonstrate that, and that is all I have.
Thank you very much. Ms. Pye.
Do the Right Thing is coming January 22nd, and Desert Hot Springs has another winner who will receive a plaque, certificates of commendation, and a prize package valued at more than $700, and will be featured on KESQ Channel 3 with Sandy Newton. Dr. Carrie Careover is presenting the Desert Hot Springs student on January 22nd, and it is Kawanya Gamble from Desert Springs Middle School. On January 26th at 2 p.m., the Palm Springs Black History Committee presents Gospel Festival with music, scripture, and prayer at Word of Life Fellowship Center, and that's on 64565 Pearson Boulevard. On 1/8, our Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce, as Dirt said, did a presentation on homeless, and Dora Williams was the keynote speaker. And on the left there is this, what do they call it? The HOT team, the SWAT team. It's part of SWAP and SWAG, sorry. I'll let you do it. SWAG and our HOT team, where we're coordinating with SWAG, and Dora was able to answer all of the questions. One of the questions that was asked was she going to put this on a video? And one of the things I wanted to ask people is, you can go, say, to public safety, because on public safety there was a presentation as well. And you can go to public safety and drop down, and Gerald will explain it in a minute, and you can get Public Safety Commission, Planning Commission, and Council Commission. And all you do is put in an email, your email, and you'll automatically get all of the agendas that we get, including the backup. And then you don't have to watch it at the same time, or you can watch it live, but it's on YouTube, so you can watch it at any time. Gerald, please.
Thank you, Councilmember Pai. So to subscribe to meeting agendas, so from the city's homepage, which is at cityofdhs.org, you just go to subscribe, and then here you can go to subscribe meeting agendas, and just as the council member described, you can select which or all of the meeting types that you want to receive notifications for, and I think the only thing you have to do is just confirm your email.
Thank you, and that concludes.
Thank you very much. Technology's great. I will be as brief as I can. I did not attend the parade and holiday festival, and I noticed, I told everyone before that hand that didn't do it, but I just wanted to reiterate why I wasn't there. If you did happen to not see me, we had two longtime residents of Desert Hot Springs that grew up here and went off to college and graduate school. One became an attorney, and one has a master's degree and getting her second master's degree, and will soon be a doctor and a professor. And they met in high school, and they wanted me to marry them. So I was given the honor to do that here in Desert Hot Springs, unfortunately on the day of the parade. So it's the reason I wasn't there, but it was a true honor to do that. As mentioned, the Maverick gas station finally opened after all the water troubles, and it had nothing to do with Desert Hot Springs. And we were able to cut the ribbon there. It's a clean facility. It's a wonderful facility. You can fill up for a couple of cents less than most gas stations across the valley, so please visit that if you can. I also had a tour of our hub, which is our unhoused location for our homeless, and the program that SWAG has put into effect. I was there the day before they were getting ready to reopen the facility, and talking about their program and how many contacts they've already made in our community and what they're doing for our community. I want to do something different as mayor this year. I want to start, I'm not going to do something different. I'm going to open my office hours again, but I want to also offer opportunities for individuals in our community that have concerns about things to come to my office and talk to me about that, so I can set up an appointments and the right people to talk to. Too many times we get on social media and it becomes a one-sided platform for individuals that think they know what they're talking about. And I don't mean that in a terrible way, but for example, this weekend or yesterday, we had people talking about the city going into bankruptcy because someone didn't read the date on the information they received from Google, which was from 2013. So with that said, it started a whole stream of unwanted comments. So what I'm asking you as mayor is please do your research first before making comments, especially on social media, as it can be and has been used as a tool to bully individuals. And for some reason, we teach our students not to bully each other, but we don't teach our adults once they turn 18 not to do it back to the people in our communities. So talking back about the hub, we have an opportunity to show you what our city's doing with our hot team and our swag team. And I would love to set up tours for you. We have a great government relations PR person now that can take you through those things. So with that said, we also hosted the Cal Cities. Mr. Gardner and Ms. Pye are really instrumental in Cal Cities over the last few years, and Mr. Voss is getting involved. We were I think almost a year ago, you committed the city to host the event here in City Desert Hot Springs, and I think there was around 60 individuals from across the county that came in, and we were able to give a welcome speech, show off Desert Hot Springs a little bit at our Health and Wellness Center. So that was very nice. I was honored yesterday at the Martin Luther King event here in Desert Hot Springs. Our first community Baptist church holds this event usually annually. I think last year was the first year they got back to it, but I had to work, so I wasn't able to go last year. But I couldn't figure out why it's been so many years since I'd been there, and the predecessor to the current pastor there was the last time I was invited, and we were talking. They had a fire that they were shut down for over a year, reconstructing, and then there was COVID. So getting back to this event was awesome, and they honored me in the community as the political figure for our community, and so it was very nice to see that. Plus the event was great, as mentioned. There was dancers and singers, and if you've ever been to a Baptist church, you can imagine. My ears are still ringing. I am meeting with multiple organizations, not just residents of Desert Hot Springs. I had started years ago office hours on Tuesdays. Please call and schedule an appointment with me. I will block off time for you on any Tuesday. I try to show up here at City Hall between 10 and noon on Tuesdays, since we have council meetings every other Tuesday. And I want to make that the day that it's open to the public, that you can come sit in my office. You don't have to have an appointment. You can check to see if I'm here, but it would prefer for you to have an appointment because sometimes people like to meet with me elsewhere. But I want to get back to those office hours on Tuesdays. So any Tuesday that you want to pick, call ahead of time to our city, and we'll get that scheduled for you. I'm meeting with all the organizations in Desert Hot Springs. So if I haven't touched base with you and your organization within Desert Hot Springs, please reach out to our city manager's office, or just call our customer service line, and we'll get you scheduled with me. It's time that we really get back together. We're done with COVID. We're back in full force, and it's time we utilize the city council to get back out to our organizations and re-energize the commitments that we've made over our campaigns, over our time that we've dedicated to our city, and I really want to get that out there. I know this is kind of far out, and I'll mention it multiple times, but our high school does a great event each year. It's called Taste of Soul. I missed it the last couple of years because of some conflicts with work. I'm going to try to make it this year. They always schedule it when we have our symposium at work, but I know other council members have made it. But it's February 21st. Starts, I believe, at 5 or 6, but it'll be on their website if you go to Desert Hot Springs High School's website. And it honors Black History Month, but it's just awesome. The food's great, the art, the history, everything. If you just walk through, it's a great event here in Desert Hot Springs. And then lastly, I have to say this, I'm going to try to do it without getting choked up. So during my campaign speech last week, or my acceptance speech when I was recertified as the mayor of the city of Desert Hot Springs, I failed to thank my wife, of all the people. So I started to thank her, and I started to get choked up, and I said, I'll come back to it. And I got into my whole spiel and just got back to it. So I went home, and she kind of, I said, how did I do? And she laughed at me and said, you did wonderful, except for you forgot one person. So I really wanted the public and everyone here to know that my wife was born and raised here, so as I was, and we have a heart for this community. I can argue that we have some of the biggest hearts in this community. And without her pushing me to be mayor in 2016, to run in 2015, I would have never done it. She really convinced me. She helped me win that election by a landslide of 63 votes. But she's been my driving force back and forth in this community. She's your first lady, and I hope when you see her, you recognize her. She was up on a billboard for a lot longer than we all hoped, and she did not like that. But for the most part, I just wanted to say thank you to my wife, Victoria Mattis, for everything she's done for this community. All right. With that said, and I did it without crying this time. All right, we're done. We're going to skip to administrative calendar real quick. We're going to take the first item on that, and then I'll go back to the public hearing. We have multiple people in the audience here that are here for their commission appointments. Item number 6 on our administrative calendar is the city council appointments to city commissioners, the way our community works. Actually, I'm going to let our esteemed city clerk explain that process to us, and then we're going to take the planning commission. We'll name all the names on there and take any comments on them. And then we'll take the Public Safety Commission second. Mr. City Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, City Council. So pursuant to the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code, appointments to commission shall be made at the first meeting in January following each regular election year. One member of each commission shall be appointed by one member of the City Council and ratified by a majority of the City Council. Members of any commission shall be appointed for 2-year terms commencing at the February meeting of the year of appointment. At the completion of any term, a commissioner may be reappointed. Vacancies that occur shall be filled by the appointment for the unexpired term of the member replaced. The council shall have an opportunity to review all the applications that were submitted. The council member who is responsible for the appointment shall notify the city clerk in order for that proposed commissioner name to be published on the agenda. The proposed commissioner, but not all applicants, shall appear at the council meeting when the appointment is being made and shall be available to answer any questions from the council. And if an appointment to any commission is not made within 60 days of a vacancy, the mayor or mayor pro tem in the mayor's absence shall make the appointment, subject to ratification by a majority of the city council. With that being said, on December 18th, the notice of vacancies went out and opened the application period through January 13th. We received 10 applications, and staff's recommendation is to appoint 5 members to each of the following commissions for a 2-year term expiring in January 2027. So for Planning Commission, it's to ratify Mayor Mattis's reappointment of James Nandel, ratify Mayor Pro Tem Gardner's reappointment of Chris Wagstaff, ratify Councilmember Pitt's appointment of Theodore Parker, ratify Councilmember Pye's appointment of Robert Rowe, and Councilmember Voss's appointment of Joseph Lombardo. For a public, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
For a Public Safety Commission.
No, I'm sorry, we'll wait on that. I thought you had one more thought on that. So before we go to the Public Safety Commission, I just wanted to recognize the individuals that will be either reappointed or appointed and let comments be made about them. This is an opportunity with the new policies and our procedures on appointments that each of the new members that are recommended for appointment be ratified, but also attend the meeting. So if there is any questions by the City Council, they can be questioned. So you might be asked to come up and answer any questions. Before we do that, just so everybody's recognized, is Mr. Nadell here tonight? Yes, he is. He's hiding in the back there. Any reappointments did not have to be in person, but Mr. Nadell, would you stand up so you can be, so everybody knows who you are? I know you really like the limelight, so I'm just joking. Just joking. Mr. Wagstaff, did he show up tonight? He didn't need to. I don't see him. Mr. Parker? Mr. Parker, so we all recognize who you are. And Mr. Rowe, I believe, is on Zoom, correct?
Correct.
Okay, if there's any questions for him, he'll be on Zoom. And Mr. Lombardo, I know he's out there. There he is. All right, so I will open it up to any comments from the City Council. Mr. Voss?
Yes, so I, picked Mr. Lombardo for this. He's been a resident of our town for a while now, an independent business owner, flexible in scheduling, smart, been studying up on Planning Commission, very interested in economic development and the well-being of our town. And I think he'll be a superb addition to this group for the betterment of our community. And we'll read the agenda and the packet activities.
That's an important part right there, yeah.
That's it right there. And really, has a lot of passion for the town and is very excited about, being a part of this and contributing at the next level. So it's an honor to be able to appoint him.
Ms. Pye?
Is Mr. Rowe on Zoom?
Yes, I am.
Can you show him? There he is. I appointed him. He did a lot of things, and he tried to do a lot of things. He tried to do the civic. He couldn't the first time because of COVID. The second time, there wasn't enough members. He did apply for Citizens on Patrol, and he talked to me. And he also talked about what the Planning Commission should do and should not do. And he is not here. He should be, but he's not here because he's tending to his mother at this time. But he's smart. That's all I can say. He's smart, and he approached me twice. He really, really wanted to do this. So I appointed him. Did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say thank you very much for the confidence you placed in me. I am very pro-growth, and I really look forward to working with the other commissioners. If we have differences, it's important that we share each side of the way we feel, and we work together for the common good of the city. I'm looking forward to the appointment.
Thank you.
Mr. Lombardo, I didn't give you a chance to say anything. Would you like to say anything? You sure?
No, I'm just happy to dip my toe in this.
Thank you. Mr. Gardner?
Yes, I'll be reappointing Chris Wagstaff. He'll be serving his second term. Mr. Wagstaff is very knowledgeable on construction and on building. He served the commission very well over the last 2 years and asked for a reappointment, and I'm excited to reappoint him.
Mr. Pitts?
All right, so Ted Parker is former vice president of a local HOA board, also along with other boards, has a extensive background in construction and a passion to want to serve our city.
And I'll be reappointing, Mr. Parker, did you want to say anything? Did you have anything to say? If you can come up to the mic so everybody can hear you, 'cause you're famous.
I can speak pretty loud. I'm used to public speaking, being on some of the places I was at before. But thank you, Daniel, for trusting me to join the city council with these opportunities, and I look forward to working with everybody here and building the city and making it a much better city. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And I'll be reappointing Mr. James Nadell. He's served me as my appointment to the Planning Commission for many years now. I believe he's served his community very well. He's very thoughtful. He's very detailed on how he comes to his conclusions on whether to support or not support an item, and I think he's a benefit to our community. Mr. Nadell, would you like to speak?
I'd just like to say that I've enjoyed being on the commission.
You're going to have to come up to the mic because they won't be able to hear you on TV, and I know you love the limelight, so.
I just want to say I've enjoyed being on the commission in the past. I've worked hard at it, I think. I'm very pro-growth, but smart growth. And I look forward to continuing to help the city move forward, because that's the only direction we can go, should go.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nadell. The appointments, once ratified by the city council, they'll be notified by the city clerk on when the next meeting will be. The most senior person or past chair, vice chair will chair the beginning of the meeting until the city clerk can organize it with the chair and vice chair. And they'll walk you through that. Is there a motion to ratify these appointments?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Voss, seconded by Mr. Gardner. Once it comes up on the screen, we can push it. Or did you want to do it all? Can you do them separately?
Yeah, I can do them separately.
Do you want to do them roll call?
Sure. Is there a second on this one?
That was Mr. Gardner.
What's up?
There's a second.
I'm sorry.
Councilmember Pitts.
Yes.
Councilmember Pai.
Yes.
Councilmember Voss.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Aye.
And Mayor Mattis.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And for the Public Safety Commission, Mr. Soriano?
Yes, so for the Public Safety Commission, the recommendations are as follows. Ratify Mayor Mattis's reappointment of Donna Lozano. Ratify Mayor Pro Tem Gardner's appointment of Myrna Flores. There is one change for Councilmember Pitts. His original appointment has withdrew her application, and so his appointment will be Charles Lance. Fourth is ratify Councilmember Pai's appointment of Michael Rizzio, and ratify Councilmember Voss's appointment of Reynaldo Sanchez.
With that said, I will start with Mr. Pitts this time.
So my pick is Charles Lance. He has a significant public safety background, previously serving as a local casino public safety director. He also has served in the military and has a military background of service and other public safety experience.
Mr. Gardner? Oh, Mr. Lance, I'm sorry, Mr. Lance, would you like to say anything?
Actually, I think I will. I did have the opportunity to meet most of you. For the public that don't know, I did run for District 4 City Council position. Rightfully so. I'd like to say that I'm a firm believer in democracy, and I think my district got it right. I had the opportunity to sit down with Mr. Voss one-on-one with a little luncheon meeting. You know, we're judged not only in how we celebrate victory, but also how we honor ourselves and those that we run against and defeat. So I want to take my hat off to Mr. Voss and look forward to working with him. And I will say, you know, I am a veteran of 10 years, and I served the last 4 in Special Forces. So I do have something to bring to the table for law enforcement and definitely public safety. So look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gardner?
Thank you. My previous appointee has retired and decided that he and his spouse were going to travel. So I have the opportunity to choose somebody new for the Public Safety Commission, and I'm pleased to appoint Myrna Flores to my position on the Public Safety Commission. Myrna is, I've known Myrna for a number of years. She's a neighbor, and she is very active in the Latino Women's Club, and she's also serves on our Citizens on Patrol, our cops volunteer, and I think she's going to make an excellent addition to our Public Safety Commission.
Ms. Flores, anything you would like to say? I know you're not shy.
I just want to say thank you for your trust, and I hope I do a good job. Thank you.
Ms. Pai?
I'm reappointing Mr. Rizzo, and you don't have to stand up. He came in when my first appointment, well, he couldn't do it anymore because of his job, and so he hasn't served the whole term. I generally don't, after I appoint someone, I generally do not talk to them unless they screw up. Mr. Rizzo, he does call me sometimes, but he calls me to find out why did you do that. But we talk professionally, and it's a good conversation. And also, I do want you to stand up because I want someone to see you. Recently, a person asked me a question about what the police do and what they're not doing. And I explained to them that I can tell them what I think, but you actually need to come to the Public Safety Commission and tell them in person. And the chief said, yes, I'd like to know exactly what the problem is so I can make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So you see, Mr. Rizzo, so now you know someone. Come to the Public Safety Commission. You already know how to subscribe because they're only dealing with public safety. And they have a little more lee room than we have. Thank you.
Mr. Rizzo, would you like to say anything?
I'd just like to say thank you for the opportunity to serve my community. I've been here a long time, and it's really a pleasure to serve with you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And then Mr. Voss.
So I'm appointing Reynaldo Sanchez. Ray, stand up, Ray. So Ray is a lifetime resident here in town, and he knows all the nooks and crannies and the stories and the hideouts and the secrets and where things were. And, you know, from a public safety perspective, that historical background from the various police departments to the startup of the police departments to the what we've done and where the community concerns are, especially in the Latino community, where the concerns are in the younger. He's got kids that are in our school system and what have you, and interacts daily with the public as the general manager of Five Star Gym, which, by the way, Joe goes there as well. This is the Five Star Gym crew here. Is that, he's very interactive with people. And when we started talking about this, he started talking about, when I ran for the race, he started talking about different public safety things. And what was really exciting is it wasn't so much the challenge of questions that I was getting, but was also his feedback of answers and some resolutions or some ideas and thoughts and comments. And, we used to do it this way and it didn't work, or here's what we tried, and these type of things. And I think that historical background with that, along with kind of a different outlook from somebody who's been in all the youth sports and been very active at that level, brings a different perspective that I think will be very helpful for the chief and the other public safety leaders we have as well. So I look forward to seeing his production and what he does on there. And if you have anything to say, come up and say it.
Ray showed up at 5:30 to watch the football kids get their awards. He's been here a long time with us.
Yes, he has.
Just want to say I appreciate everybody's time and patience and all that good stuff. I've been a resident for all my life. I'm 46 years old, and I think it's time and my duty to take part in doing something for the city now. I raised my family and my kids here, for a very long time, and I think it's time for me to do my part. And I appreciate you, Dirk, for putting me and noting me.
You got it.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you. And I'll be reappointing Donna Lozano. She has a little more energy, she says, to continue her service in the Public Safety Commission. Her initial commitment to the Public Safety Commission was due to her son losing his life tragically here in Desert Hot Springs. We named the building at the Gatadesco Park after him, the Henry Lozano Center. And her family's been instrumental in this community for a long, long, long time. Our baseball field at Warman Park is named after her mother, Maria Richardson, and her family just has a long history here. So she is also one of those ones that knows where all the bodies are buried here in town. And so she wants to continue with her service, but I don't believe she was able to make it tonight. With that said, I forgot to take public comments on any of these. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make public comments on these two before we take a vote? Thank you very much. I'll take a motion to approve and ratify the Public Safety Commission's appointments.
I'll move the slate of candidates for the Public Safety Commission.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We'll move it on the screen. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your service to the City of Desert Hot Springs. You don't have to hang out for the rest of the meeting, but you're more than welcome to. All right, we're going to go back to our public hearing now, which is, I lost it. Put it. There it is. Item number 5 is the formation of the Community Facilities District number 2025-1, Skyborn Village. Mr. Buckheim.
Yes,
before you do this, I do have a conflict of interest on this. It's a very vague conflict of interest, but the company that I work for, Desert Resort Management, manages the Skyborn Homeowners Association, which technically has nothing to do with this, but because of the vicinity of it and because of my role, even though I'm not the manager of that, our company manages 350 properties and I manage only 5 of them, not Skyborn or anything in Desert Hot Springs. The FPPC has recommended that I recuse myself. Gardner, all yours.
All right, wait for him to leave, and we'll go ahead with staff report. Mr. Buckheim.
Yes, thank you. So I'd like to introduce Lawrence Chen with Stradling Law to do the staff report.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Lawrence Chen with Stradling, Yucca, Carlson, Routh. We're a law firm representing the city as your bond counsel. So this item relates to the formation of the community facilities district for the Skyborn project. On December 12th last year, the City Council adopted resolutions to initiate the formation process, and those resolutions call for a public hearing on the formation for tonight's meeting. So tonight's proceedings basically are the second and final step to complete the formation process. Fairly streamlined proceedings. You'll be asked to hold a public hearing, after which you'll be asked to consider and adopt the first 2 resolutions in front of you, which form the CFD, determine the necessity to incur debt for the CFD, and call for an election on the levy of the special taxes within the first 2 improvement areas of this district. At that point, the city clerk will be asked to hold and canvass the election. And after that, the proceedings come back to the council, at which you will be asked to adopt the 3rd resolution certifying the election results, and then to introduce and read by title only the ordinance levying the special taxes. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions on the proceedings, and also here tonight are you're the city's special tax consultant, as well as a representative of the consultant to Skyborn Ventures to answer any questions that they could address.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the city council? No questions from the city council. All right, so we will open the public hearing. Public hearing is open. We'll take public testimony for those in favor. Seeing nobody come up. Public testimony from those opposed. No one coming up. I'll bet nobody's coming up for a neutral position. Nope. So we'll close the public hearing. Is there any discussion amongst the council on this motion?
Just one, it's not going to cost the city anything.
Correct?
That's correct.
Any other comments? All right, we'll close the city council discussion. And we move to adopt a resolution of the city council establishing CFD number 2025-1. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion from Mr. Voss?
Second.
Second from Ms. Pye. Please vote as soon as it comes up.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Gerald. Now we move on to adopt a resolution of the City Council declaring the necessity to incur bond indebtedness within CFD number 2025-1.
So move.
Oh, yeah.
We have a motion and a second. Jan? Okay, there you go. Second, who's, all right.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. Now we will hold the election. Mr. Soriano, envelope has been kept on the porch of Fungan Wagnalls for the last 3 years in a mayonnaise jar, and we'll open it up like Karnak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. The landowner has voted in favor of the formation.
All right, so it passed unanimously on the public election. Canvass the election. Now we need to adopt a resolution of the City Council certifying the election results. And can we do this in one motion, Gerald? Combine both 13 and 14?
I would recommend doing separately since they're
Okay.
2 separate documents.
All right, we've canvassed the election, we adopt a resolution of the City Council certifying the election results. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
I have a motion from Ms. Pye, second from Mr. Voss. On the screen, please vote. Well, that went weird.
Just waiting for Councilmember Voss, Councilmember Gardner.
Deny.
Four.
It's kind of froze, I think,
No.
Gerald. Do you
Yeah.
need to do a roll call?
Were they yes votes?
There we go. It's up. All right.
Okay, motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. And lastly, we will introduce for the first reading and read by title only an ordinance of the City Council of Desert Hot Springs acting as capacity as the legislative body of Community Facilities District number 2025-1 Skyborn Village, City of Desert Hot Springs, authorizing the levy of special taxes within the improvement area number 1 and improvement area number 2 of the territory annexed into the district in the future. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Voss?
Second.
Ms. Pye? Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right.
The ordinance as read by title will return on February 4th for a second reading and adoption.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor? There he comes. I'll keep going if you want. All right. Mayor is back.
All right, we have no other public hearings. We'll move to the last item on the agenda, which is mayor's appointments to various intergovernmental, I don't know why that was a mouthful, and regional boards and committees. Is there any way to put that list up, Gerald? Sorry, I should have asked for that earlier.
I'm
I
sorry,
don't want
can
to
you
talk
repeat that?
through them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Here's a copy of it. If you can get it on screen, that's fine. If not, it's not a big deal. So, as the mayor, I don't get a lot of power. I'm just one vote of 5, but one of my jobs is I'm able to appoint people to what I think their strengths are in our representation around the county and region. A lot of people think that you're elected to the city council and you just sit up here twice a month to make some decisions, but they don't realize how many other committees and commissions and that we as council members are asked to attend. Some of these are really formal, some are just informal, but for the most part, we are in a position to make a difference as members of our city council in and around the region. The Coachella Valley Association of Governments is a joint powers authority that is made up of all the cities in the Coachella Valley and Blythe. These multiple different committees, and they have one committee which is called the Executive Committee, and most of it's made up of the mayors of all the cities, whether they're rotated in or elected, or an appointment from their city. And so I will be representing that with Mr. Gardner as the alternate. The Energy and Environmental Resources Committee, Mr. Voss will be the member. I won't read all the alternates to it. Ms. Pye will continue to represent us on the Homelessness Committee. Public Safety Commission, Mr. Pitts will represent us. Transportation Committee, I've continued to represent us on that. And then the what they call the CVCC, which is the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission, Mr. Gardner will represent us on that. The regional boards and committees, the Coachella Valley Mountains Conservancy, going with the theme that Mr. Gardner has talked a lot about tonight, which is our public lands and his representation on the CVCC. It goes hand in hand, so he'll be representing on that. Mr. Gardner is also the chair and has represented us well with Visit Greater Palm Springs, and will continue to do that. This one here is the Palm Springs Airport Commission. Ms. Pye has represented us in the past, but Mr. Voss has taken up an interest in that. This is an appointment based on the ratification of the City of Palm Springs. City of Palm Springs still will need to vote on this to ratify our decision to appoint Mr. Voss as the member from Desert Hot Springs. Riverside County Transportation Commission, I will continue to represent us there. Sunline Transit, Mr. Pitts will represent us, and he will also represent us at the Coachella Valley Animal Campus Commissions. God bless you, and hope that that goes well. The Coachella Valley Mosquito and Vector Control Board, Mr. Gardner has represented us well and will continue to do that, and that is for us to ratify a 4-year term. Mission Springs Water District, we have liaisons to different community organizations, committees, and other governmental agencies, and these are some of the more important ones, but not all of them. Ms. Pye and Mr. Voss will represent us as liaisons to Mission Springs Water District. Myself and Mr. Gardner will represent us with the Hoteliers Association. The Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Voss and Mr. Pitts will represent us as liaisons. Palm Springs Unified School District, Mr. Pitts will join me on representing us. Desert Healthcare District, Mr. Pitts and Ms. Pye will represent us. Cabot's Museum Foundation, which is a really important foundation and organization to our community, Mr. Gardner will join me on that, representing us. The Historical Society, Mr. Gardner and Ms. Pye, and the League of California Cities, Mr. Gardner and Mr. Voss. The City Council subcommittees, these are 3 that have been formed over the years in the policies and rules and regulations. Mr. Gardner and Ms. Pye have taken that on the last few years, and I asked them to continue to do that. The donations and sponsorships, we get a lot of requests thinking that the city has very deep pockets, and we have sometimes we have deep pockets, but Jeffrey starts to turn pale when I say words like that. But Ms. Pye and I will review those with the city manager's office and make recommendations on donations and sponsorships. So in the past, just to explain this a little deeper, is the Palm Springs Air Museum has a gala. We support them with buying a table. They do flyovers during our veterans events and Memorial Day event. So there's a give and take with that, and so there's positives to some of these asks when it comes to these donations and sponsorships. Housing, we've had a lot of issues within our community when it comes to affordable housing, but mostly in the most recent past has been about short-term rentals, and Mr. Gardner and Mr. Pitts will be working together on that. And lastly, I've asked for some newly appointed committees in the city of Desert Hot Springs, not commissions. Staff was like, no, not commissions. Committees. So I'd like to continue the cleanup and beautification committee with Mr. Pitts joining me on that. We have some members of the community that are already working with me on that. We'll be scheduling some time with them. The downtown planning committee, we started this a few years ago during COVID, and this was basically to promote and build up a plan for our Pearson corridor downtown, and Mr. Gardner will be working with me on that. The spa tour, I'll be bringing this back in 2026. This has been a very successful event before COVID. It was to highlight our spas in our community, and I will be building a plan with Mr. Gardner, as he has a lot of contacts with our hoteliers. I also, because of his working out methods and his continued to be under the health and wellness umbrella, Mr. Voss will join me in bringing the first annual Spa City Triathlon to the community of Desert Hot Springs. It's been talked a lot about. I think we have an opportunity. I believe this is something that we can pull off in 2026 easily. And then Finance Committee, this has been requested by our city manager's office, and I think it's something that's been requested by our community multiple times, is to have a finance committee of some residents of our community, but the city council will have Ms. Pye and Mr. Pitts representing us to get that going. Did have some requests in our community and outside our community for some liaisons to other organizations. We have a lot of activities with our tribal leaders and partners, and Mr. Voss and I will be leading those efforts and making those relationships. The Coachella Valley Economic Partnership, we do not participate financially as of right now, but Mr. Voss has asked to build some relationships there, and we'll be appointing him there. The Desert Valley Builders Association is a very instrumental organization within our region that does have a lot of influence on how our development happens in the future, and Mr. Gardner will be joining Mr. Voss and representing us there. Immediate liaison, this is when our government affairs, newly appointed government affairs person doesn't want to be in front of the camera and wants one of the politicians. It should be the mayor pro tem. So we do have some contacts there, and we're speaking from one voice as a city council. And then our College of the Desert, I didn't have it on the list, but we've had representation in 2x2 meetings, and Ms. Pye and Mr. Voss will be leading those efforts to meet with College of the Desert and build those relationships. If there's no other discussion on these, I'd ask the City Council for ratification, but before we do that, I'll take any public comments. See nobody coming forth. If there's no corrections or comments on this,
I'll move the ratification of the slate of appointments.
I'll second.
Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Sariano will get you all the dates and times of the meetings if you haven't already seen those. Most of them, I think, were in that sheet there, but look forward to everybody working hard over the next 2 years. I don't think I'll be asking to change these over the next 2 years, so we'll revisit these in 2 years. The consent calendar was passed in full. I believe we finished all the administrative and the public hearings, and before we adjourn the meeting, just want to let everybody know that the next City Council meeting will be on February 4th. Planning Commission will meet on February 11th, and the Public Safety Commission on the 13th. And we'll be back here on the 18th for the second meeting in February. No further business from the City of Desert Hot Springs. We are adjourned.